In the mainstream rap realm, it seems like that there's barely any superstars now due to the ones that we already know have been around for almost a decade now, and the ones that haven't, 9 times out of 10 fans tend to grow out of their music in a span of 3 years at most due to them 9 times out of 10 getting tired of the same music. And with Playboi Carti recently dropping music, that is still insane to say out loud, but anyway. With him recently dropping music and literally all of the songs taking over the charts, there's no doubt in my mind that Carti should be considered a superstar. What's up everyone, it's the NGs. This might be a shorter video, but we gotta talk about the insane run Carti has been having these past couple of years, and with music recently dropping, those numbers have been going 10 times crazier to the point there's no doubt that he's bigger than almost all of his peers in the trap space. Now it seemed like when Carti was first coming up inside the mainstream with Self-Titled and Die Lit, it seemed like he wasn't underground per se. Hell, literally on Die Lit, he literally had Chief Keef, Nicki Minaj, Young Thug, and many more that I'm missing on one album alone, so that's definitely not underground. But I feel like the general consensus regarding Carti around that era was you either liked it or you hated his music. There was no in between. Me personally, I liked Carti music prior to Whole Lotta Red, but I could never stand his fan base. And the reason why I didn't mess with the fan base back in the day, because I hate to compare anybody in Opium to this rapper. Y'all may know where I'm going with this, but take Carti fan base back in the day, and that's what Osama Son is dealing with currently. Leaking any and everything he does, fucking up the rollouts for albums that 9 times out of 10 wasn't going to come out, but we had a feeling that it was at one point due to how much Carti lies, but we wasn't fully hip until the Whole Lotta Red era. One thing I'll give the Carti fans back in the day is they didn't leak this man's personal life, because Osama Son got to deal with that shit at least once a month. Which brings us to the next album, Whole Lotta Red, which we all know wasn't received well when it first came out. I even had my opinions on this channel. I don't know if I deleted it or not, but pretty much I was basically saying that it wasn't worth the wait. And at the time, I believed that, and low-key still do, but I didn't grow to appreciate it until last year, as crazy as that sounds. But whether you liked Whole Lotta Red or not, his fan base was growing more and more with every album, and Whole Lotta Red was no different, because this would be his first album he sold 100K first week. Mind you, most if not all of the songs on Whole Lotta Red was all new songs. None of them were leaked, well, not to my knowledge anyway, but moral of the story, that was a smart move looking back at it. Although the general consensus of rap still wasn't too fond of Carti music overall, especially with the approach he took on Whole Lotta Red, his fans grew to like it over time due to, well, the man not dropping in over like 2 years at this rate, and the only time you would see him is during a show that he would cancel, and 9 times out of 10 he would be playing a Whole Lotta Red songs that fit the aesthetic. Unless you want to count him teasing Narcissist, but like literally nothing came out of that, so we haven't heard anything from him music wise in like 2 years until recently, with the talk of the town being, well, music. Y'all should have seen that coming. Rollout for music was definitely hectic to say the least, because it all started with 2024, a song that came out in late 2023. I know this is confusing, stick with me here. Then a few days later, Hood by Air would come out, which is debatably one of the best songs during this entire rollout, but that's my opinion. But the difference between 2024 and Hood by Air and every other song after that, he would do this thing where instead of posting the music videos on YouTube, he would put it on the Opium backup page. No YouTube, no streaming platforms, nope, nothing like that. The only way you would hear official Carti songs is the Opium page, until he decided to change that. But if someone did posted it on like Spotify, for example, 9 times out of 10 it would not be the best. And I don't need to explain even further why.
You tryna knock my pimpin', I'm still sippin'.
It's one thing to knock my hustle.
But it worked in his favor, because if I'm not mistaken, Carti is literally the only rapper that ever posts full-on songs on Instagram consistently and still get the people talking. Not only his fans were anticipating music, but people outside of his fan base were anticipating music, because these songs that he posted on his Opium page were more appealing to people who were non-Carti fans pretty much. compared to a whole lot of Red, and the multiple fit picks, and on top of the songs, this is the most active Carti has been in a while, so you would think music will be dropping soon, right? Or at the very least, one of the songs on IG Reels would be posted on streaming services, right? Right? Nope, the whole year of 2024, aka last year, literally nothing but consistent fit picks, scamming Aiden Ross, and the same songs on IG Reels. Well, they were different, but you get my point. No songs on streaming services until one on September called All Red. And even then, that was a leak supposedly that was from 2 years ago. But surprisingly, people were still tuned in due to these antics and the random people known to man talking about when Carti is dropping. Basically, from what I'm saying is music is pretty much non-existent. It's what I would say until this year. But before last month, we were still dealing with the same bullshit. Multiple fit picks, multiple fake dates, DJ Academics and Castanet being a part of this already terrible rollout. And when Carti was ready to drop with the track list or whatnot, bro was late to his own press run to the point we had to sit down and watch a Castanet stream. Well, let me not say we. Only stayed for like 2 minutes until bro asked Carti what was his favorite food. But moral of the story, people stayed up and watched a Castanet stream for Carti, bro.
Hey man, I love y'all niggas like a motherfucker, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love y'all like a motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown in here, like, I ain't no mystery shit ever. Like, I just like to be by myself and shit, you know what I'm saying? I got too much swag, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't be out here, like, just giving the swag away.
I feel bad for some of y'all, which by no surprise took the internet by storm, whether you're a Carti fan or not. I even go to say, even people who are non-fans of rap, even tuned into music. That's how viral it was. And after almost a month later, by the time of this recording, I still believe it wasn't worth the wait. No album is worth the wait, especially with 30 plus songs. But I'm not gonna lie, every time I listen to music, it has been one of, if not the only thing I keep coming back to in current times. And my top 5 changes multiple times every time I give it a re-listen. That's how much I like the album. With the 2010s aesthetic it's going for, with songs like Wheezy and Mayan, the Swamp Izzo contributions. I've been seeing people complain about the Swamp Izzo ad-libs, and I don't understand why if that's what Carti was going for. It may come off as me glazing Carti, but literally the numbers don't lie. He literally sold 300K first week, and on top of that, all of the album is on the top 100 like I mentioned earlier, and allegedly it's already eligible to go gold with it selling 500K units overall in a span of less than a month, which is crazy to put in perspective with how hectic this rollout was. 9 times out of 10, no other rapper is able to do that. And the fact that Carti is about to go on tour with The Weeknd allegedly, if he even shows up, but anyway, if he's going on tour, why not do his own with this much numbers instead of opening up for somebody? Like, no other rapper in the trap space have this much motion in current times. The only person I think can pull off this type numbers is Travis. Like, imagine 21 Savage decides to post his music on Instagram Reels. Nobody is gonna be here for that shit. And I'm not dissing 21 Savage neither, but like, bro, let's be realistic. Wrap this video up. All I'm gonna say is the current state of mainstream rap, where it seems pretty much damn near impossible to even crack 100K. Carti shattered people's expectations, which was expected, but I'm praying this man does not become a mainstream feature merchant, because I don't need to see Carti on multiple people albums this year. Like, it's already bad enough that Kendrick was on like 3 songs on Carti album, which nobody asked for. But I'm gonna wrap the video up right here. If you like my vids, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know how y'all feel about music. And yeah, this is NG's, and take care.